Nigeria and United States reaffirm commitment to deepening cooperation on security, counter-terrorism, intelligence sharing and regional stability. NCDC intensifies surveillance as hantavirus outbreak sparks global concerns. An alleged $4 million cash scandal. South Africa's court gives green lights on impeachment proceedings against President Cyril Ramaphosa. Nigeria and the United States have reaffirmed commitments to deepening cooperation on security, counter-terrorism, intelligence sharing, and regional stability, following high-level engagements in Washington, D.C. involving Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. According to a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, Ribadu undertook a three-day working visit to the United States between May 4th and May 6th, where he conveyed President Bola Tinubu's commitment to strengthening the strategic partnership between both countries. He held meetings with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, Acting National Security Advisor and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Under-Secretary for Political Affairs Alison Hooker, and Assistant Secretary of War Daniel Zimmerim. The discussions focused on counter-terrorism operations, defense cooperation, intelligence sharing, regional security in West Africa and the Sahel, as well as economic resilience and democratic governance. Ribadu stressed the need for sustained collaboration to tackle terrorism, violent extremism, transnational organized crime, and emerging cyber threats, noting Nigeria's frontline role in counter-terrorism efforts across the Lake Chad Basin and the wider region. He also reiterated Nigeria's commitment to a whole-of-government security strategy combining kinetic and non-kinetic measures, including community engagement, de-radicalization programs, and economic interventions aimed at addressing root causes of insecurity. During engagements at the U.S. Department of State, Ribadu expressed appreciation for ongoing American support in intelligence cooperation, defense capacity building, humanitarian assistance, and counter-terrorism operations. He also reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to implementing agreements under the Nigeria-U.S. Joint Working Group framework. Both sides reviewed progress under the Joint Working Group and explored measures to strengthen intelligence sharing, military cooperation, border security, strategic communications, and institutional capacity building. Meanwhile, troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai combated coordinated attacks by ISWAP terrorists on the headquarters 27 Brigade at Bunigari, eliminating more than 50 terrorists in the early hours of Thursday, 8th of May. A statement by the Media Information Officer, Operation Hadinkai, Lieutenant Colonel Sanuba, says large cache of arms and ammunition were recovered from the fleeing remnants of the terrorists, noting that no part of the camp was breached. The Air Components Command of Operation Hadinkai played a decisive role in the engagements, providing persistent surveillance coverage that enabled real-time situational awareness, enhancing accurate target acquisition. Two soldiers, however, paid the supreme price in the course of the engagement. The federal government has reaffirmed commitment to speedy implementation of the Sustainable Power and Irrigation for Nigeria SPIN project, in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda on food security and sustainable development. Usman Zubairu reports that the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, gave the assurance during a meeting with the World Bank implementation team in Abuja.
The Sustainable Power and Irrigation for Nigeria SPIN project is a 500 million initiative aimed at enhancing irrigation, hydropower, and water resources management across Nigeria, supported by the World Bank. The SPIN project is designed to address critical challenges in Nigeria relating to water security, food production, and energy generation. It aims to create a resilient foundation for sustainable development through integrated water and power infrastructure development. The project is expected to directly benefit over 950,000 Nigerians and is a key component of the government's strategy to strengthen national food, water and energy security. Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Usak, who received World Bank delegation led by Zacharias, alongside his team members for a strategic meeting in Abuja, reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to speedy implementation of the project. Discussion centers on the World Bank mission to review progress under the SPIN project, strengthen institutional coordination, enhance procurement processes, accelerate implementation activities, and upscale project delivery across participating states. The mission also emphasized the importance of capacity building, technical readiness, and improve operational efficiency to ensure the smooth and timely implementation of the project. Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
President Emmanuel Macron on Saturday embarked on a visit to Africa aimed at renewing France's engagement with the continent after years of strained ties with former French-speaking colonies. Macron will co-host a summit on Monday and Tuesday, bringing together African leaders and business executives as he seeks to cement his legacy 1 year before the end of his term. He will also travel to Egypt and Ethiopia as part of his Africa tour. The Africa Forward Summit marks a major milestone in relations between France and the African continent. The meeting will focus on economic development and cross-border investments, among other themes. The French presidency says, stressing that it will be the first such forum held in an English-speaking country. Macron hopes to highlight France's renewed relationship with the continent as a report card on his Africa policy. South Africa's top court overturns a vote in Parliament that quashed impeachment proceedings against President Cyril Ramaphosa over a $4 million cash heist scandal. Here are details.
Julius Malema, the leader of the opposition Economic Freedom Fighters EFF, has called for Ramaphosa to immediately resign for impeachment proceedings against him to begin. His party was one of the opposition parties that took the matter to court, accusing ANC lawmakers of using their parliamentary majority to shield Ramaphosa from accountability. Ramaphosa denied any wrongdoing, claiming that the cash was proceeds from the sale of buffaloes at his farm. In 2022, the parliament, then controlled by the President's African National Congress ANC party, declined to open impeachment proceedings that could have forced him out from office. Ramaphosa was accused of hiding from police and tax authorities, a 2020 break-in and theft of large sums of foreign currency allegedly stashed in furniture at his luxury Fala farmhouse in the northern Limpopo province is likely to heap fresh pressure on Ramaphosa and the ANC, which has been shedding support over unmet policy pledges and persistent accusations of corruption and weak governance ahead of municipal elections on 4th November.
Meanwhile, the opposition stalwart Martin Fayulu has accused the Democratic Republic of Congo's president, Felix Tshisekedi, of wanting to stay in power beyond the maximum 2 mandates at any cost. In power since 2019, Tshisekedi is due to step down as leader of the conflict-ridden country in 2028 after hitting the 2-term limit, which the Congolese constitution insists cannot be revised. While Tshisekedi told the press that he had not solicited a 3rd term, the 62-year-old would accept doing so if the people wish. His statements had the aim of announcing that he wants to remain in power at any cost, said Fayulu, whose supporters believe he should have won the elections of December 2018 instead of Tshisekedi. Despite that explicit ban on tinkering with the length and maximum number of presidential mandates, a bill making its way through the Congolese parliament aims to allow the president to revise those ironclad clauses in the event of major dysfunction, paralyzing the institutions of the state after a referendum. Now, Russia began its annual Victory Day parade on Red Square with events set to be scaled back amid security fears and signs of fatigue for over 4 years of the Ukraine war.
The parade was set to feature no military hardware for the first time in nearly 2 decades after a spate of Ukrainian drone attacks. Both Russia and Ukraine agreed a 3-day ceasefire for the occasion, following a last-minute appeal from U.S. President Donald Trump. From his speech honoring the 81st anniversary of the great victory in World War II, Russian President Vladimir Putin says, backed by the entire NATO bloc, and that the Russian army's cause is just, as he addresses an annual Victory Day parade. The great feat of the generation of victors inspires the soldiers carrying out the goals of the special military operation. For the first time in many years, security measures across Moscow are being significantly strengthened to ensure the safety of the event. By the scaled-back format, Muscovites and visitors from other regions still gather on the streets to celebrate the occasion.
A cruise ship hit with a deadly hantavirus outbreak is headed for Spain's Canary Islands, where most of the nearly 150 people on board will be evacuated and flown home after weeks at sea. The Dutch-flagged MV Hondius is expected to reach waters off Tenerife at dawn on Sunday, with WHO Chief Tedros Ghebreyesus due to help coordinate the ship's evacuation there. 3 passengers from the ship, a Dutch husband and wife, and a German woman have died, while others have fallen sick with the rare disease which usually spreads among rodents. The only hantavirus type that can transmit from person to person, the Andes virus, has been confirmed among those that have tested positive, fueling international concerns. In the meantime, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, says it has intensified surveillance and public health monitoring following reports of a hantavirus cluster linked to international cruise ship travel involving multiple countries. A statement signed by the Director General of the NCDC, Dr. Jide Idris, says the agency says the outbreak involves a limited number of confirmed and suspected cases connected to a cruise vessel, while investigations and contact tracing continue across affected countries. The NCDC, however, reassured Nigerians that there is currently no confirmed case of hantavirus in the country and that the risk to the general public remains low. According to the agency, hantavirus mainly transmitted through rodents and can infect humans through exposure to infected rodents, their urine, saliva, droppings, or contaminated dust particles. The NCDC says it is closely monitoring global developments through its surveillance and epidemic intelligence systems aimed at detecting emerging infectious diseases, especially zoonotic diseases, transmitted from animals to humans. The agency also advised Nigerians to maintain proper hygiene and environmental sanitation, including measures to prevent rodent infestation and reduce exposure to disease vectors. The NCDC further urges members of the public to rely on verified information from official health authorities and avoid spreading unconfirmed reports or misinformation capable of causing unnecessary panic. This is the news on NTA International. Let's take a break. More reports when we return. Stay with us. You're welcome back. New corporate members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Abuja branch have been urged to embrace leadership roles and contribute meaningfully to national development through innovative solutions. At their induction in Abuja, they were told to assert themselves to take responsibility for bringing Nigeria out of infrastructural challenges. Details with Kelvin Evwonaye.
Leadership and national development, the responsibility of an engineer, was the theme of the lecture, used by speakers to emphasize that engineers must go beyond technical expertise to provide innovative solutions to the nation's infrastructural and economic challenges. The speakers noted that effective leadership in engineering practice is critical to sustainable development, especially in areas such as transportation, power supply, housing, and technology. They charged the newly inducted members to uphold professionalism, integrity and excellence in the discharge of their duties, because engineers occupy strategic positions in nation building and must therefore demonstrate accountability, creativity, and commitment to public service.
In our engineering affiliation, we have 3 to 4 major cadres. We have engineers, we have engineering technologists, we have engineering technicians, and we have engineering craftsmen. So our work complements each other. And it is expected that at each cadre you are licensed by Koren, and also you are registered with your professional association for membership and professional development. So once you are outside this fold, you are a quack.
You must be mindful and understand that engineering is beyond calculations and is beyond structures and construction. It's way beyond it. It's about the impact they create, and it's about the legacy they leave after their work.
42 new corporate members took the oath of membership and are now expected to advance the course of engineering practice in their respective areas of discipline within the profession. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTN News.
Some party politics now. The ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, has intensified preparations ahead of its scheduled primaries set to hold between May 15th and 23rd. This comes as the party continues the screening of aspirants seeking to contest various elective positions ahead of the 2027 general elections. The All Progressives Congress says the exercise is aimed at ensuring credible, transparent and hitch-free primaries across the country. Yusuf Jika reports.
Political activity within the All Progressives Congress is gathering pace as the party moves into the second day of screening aspirants seeking governorship, National Assembly and State Assembly tickets ahead of the 2027 general elections. The exercise is part of efforts by the ruling party to ensure that only competent and credible candidates emerge from its primaries. From across the 36 states and the FCT, aspirants are appearing before screening panels with academic credentials, tax clearance certificates, membership records, and other required documents in line with the party's constitution and INEC regulations. The screening has drawn an array of political heavyweights, including governors, serving federal lawmakers, former ministers pursuing governorship ambitions, and several prominent figures contesting for Senate and House of Representatives positions.
The questions asked were thorough, and I believe that Nigeria will benefit from this.
Well, I'm bringing experience, part of the foundation of a new Adamawa that is happening now. If you've been to Adamawa State, you know what is happening now.
It's just important that the party also pays close attention to who is on ground, who are the grassroots politicians, who are the mobilizers.
To make sure that everything that you put down in paper is actually true, and to make sure that you've been a member of the party for some time. So
the APC says the exercise is aimed at strengthening internal democracy, promoting transparency, and reducing post-primary litigation. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTN News.
Meanwhile, the maiden national convention of the Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC, is ongoing in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports that the NDC is a newly registered political party recognized by INEC back in February. The convention is expected to ratify the pro-tem national officers of the party to take over the affairs of the party. National leader of NDC, Senator Siriaki Dixon, and former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, and 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, who recently defected to the NDC, are among many party members attending the convention. We'll have more details in subsequent bulletins. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu felicitates with the Queen of Waka genre music, Salawa Abeni, on the occasion of her 65th birthday. Rejoicing with the family, friends, and loved ones of the celebrants, the First Lady, in a birthday message, notes that Salawa Abeni's journey in the Nigerian music industry remains a symbol of talent, resilience, and excellence, expressing the rich culture and heritage of the nation for decades. While applauding Queen Salawa Abeni's dedication to her craft and impact on the entertainment industry, the First Lady prays that Almighty God grants her divine health, peace, and many more fruitful years. Now for the latest stories making headlines in the world of sports, let's now join